hopefully you've learned how to roll at some point, but if you don't know how to roll, you do not have that muscle memory that you have to have, and necessary that if you do trip outside to tuck your body and to manipulate your form to decrease your risk of injury. If you don't have that, then you have to develop that at some point, or you will have bad habits when you go to fall. As we age, fall risk becomes a huge concern. Strength training helps us to become more resilient in our bodies, develop muscle hypertrophy and muscle strength, which help our ability in not falling, or if we do fall, to protect our bones, joints, and ligaments. Something a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people talk about fall prevention training, but what about fall preparedness? In the unfortunate event that you do fall, knowing how to fall is very important. Older adults really need to train the ability to roll if they do fall. So not only the ability to withstand an injury, but having body awareness in the act of falling down and the ability to manipulate your form to decrease injury is extremely important. In an older person, if they do not have the skills necessary to accurately roll out of a fall, they must develop those skills. But falling is actually very complex. I'm going to go towards the ground and I'm going to tuck my shoulder in a position to which my back becomes a wheel and I roll with my momentum rather than stopping my momentum. So if I'm going to fall, if I do this and put my hands down, my momentum goes straight up my body. That's where an arm break or such things can happen. Instead, if I allow myself to roll and my body becomes a wheel, this is going to help me to not get injured. I'm not stopping the momentum, I'm going with the momentum. That is a very complex skill. Knowing how to do that is very complex and it takes a lot of training. So an older adult, someone who, let's say we get them to do mobility work, we get them to do strength training, we have them develop foot stability, right? We have them increase their T-spine mobility, their grip strength is up. All these things are gonna help in fall prevention. But in fall preparedness of in the event that I do fall down, what do I do in training to help me to learn the correct biomechanics and how to get out of that fall with as little damage to my frame as possible? Let's assume somebody is older and they have very poor mobility and they may even have a difficult time getting up and off the ground, or let's say even you're somebody very healthy, but you've never trained any falling. You've never trained rolling, you've never did gymnastics, you never did jiu-jitsu. So I did jiu-jitsu, and in jiu-jitsu and judo, you do tons and tons and tons of fall, break fall, dive rolls and things. So you learn these things, they become muscle memory. So what is a step-by-step process that somebody could use to help them begin their journey in learning how to do these things? So what is a step-by-step process that somebody could use to help them begin their journey in learning how to do these things, okay? So for me, the beginning is just learning basic shoulder placement on the ground. So a way I like to have somebody start this process is what I call heel taps. It's a heel tap and a shoulder tap. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'm gonna get onto all fours. So I'm on all fours here, and I'm gonna reach back through, and I'm gonna touch my heel. So my hand's gonna go here, and then I'm gonna touch my shoulder to the ground. You can put your hand here or here, and then just come up. That's what I would do. So just start this process. What does it feel like for my shoulder to go down towards the ground? I'll show you this way as well. What does it feel like my shoulder to go down to the ground here and to have my back round a little bit? Doing this for 1 minute daily is a great way to start to microdose in what it is that the muscles and the systems necessary to start that process, right? So I'm gonna do my shoulder taps and I'm gonna feel what this feels like to have the shoulder go down. 2, then we have spinal rolling. This is gonna be the middle. Now, learning how to coordinate our legs to go up and through. So here I am, I'm gonna roll and I'm gonna put one ankle down and then I'm gonna alternate. Then I can start to advance this by coming up, reaching through, tapping the knee down. This is just really gonna be a way to develop body awareness, to coordinate all of our limbs together. And again, we're assuming this person really struggles with these movements. So this may take a few months to get somebody where they can transition from a roll position up to a seated position with fluidity. If somebody can do a rock forward here, and then they've been doing their shoulder taps, then we can transition from one to the other. So here I am, I'm going to do a shoulder tap to the ground. I'm going to reach back behind here. So I'm going to make sure my head is not straining, my neck is not straining. Now I can start this process of raising my hips forward, okay? So here I am, I'm going to reach back between my heels, drop my shoulder, and I want to start moving myself up. So I'm not straining my neck here. If you look at it from the front, my shoulder is down on the ground, my shoulder is packed, and I'm just working on mobilizing into that shoulder and feeling what this feels like. Then when somebody feels ready and confident, perhaps with a spotter to ensure that they don't hit their heel or anything on the ground, ideally doing this on a soft padded surface is going to be great, they can finish the roll. So here I am. I'm just going to extend my legs forward, push my hips forward, and I've got my hand back here at the back, and then I'm going to roll all the way. Okay, so I'll show you that from the back. Here I am, I'm reaching forward towards the heel. I'm pushing myself up. My neck is on the ground, but it's relaxed. My shoulder's relaxed. And then I push through and I finish the roll, okay? A way that you can train this to have strength in that position, because when I do a roll, I don't want to flop on the ground. If I flop on the ground, my back is going to hit and it could actually cause damage to my spine or my hips, pelvis, if I do it with enough force. So you want to stay a little bit engaged when you're doing your roll. So a way that you can train that for strength is to do a reverse roll. So I'm here, I bring the legs up and over, and then I reverse the motion, right? Then, once we've trained those techniques, and we can do each one with competence and confidence for a minute each, sustained, not making it a hard effort. This is not a workout, this is just a practice session, and it's easy and it's relaxed, and that's also going to help the body to not have too much tension. If you go into these postures and these movements with too much tension in the body, it's not going to improve your mobility level, right? It could actually increase the risk for injury during those times if I get super duper tight. Okay, now transitioning into a standing posture, I'm just taking all the techniques that I've learned and I'm just going to step, put my hands down, and then slowly add my momentum down. So you don't want to start from a full standing posture. So once I know I can roll with confidence here, I want to just go up to a slightly kneeling posture here and then do the exact same technique. So I'm here, push, and then roll out, right? So I'm in a near standing posture. The shoulder goes down and then I roll out. Now I can just raise myself up more to a full standing posture, fall, shoulder goes down, and then I can roll out. The goal is to train these things frequently so that they're muscle memory, but we really need to do it in a very safe setting to where we're not exposing all of our joints and our skeletal system to momentum. So that momentum and the need to contend with that momentum can really be very injurious for people. So in the very beginning, doing very, very small movements, segmented, feeling and getting muscle memory and awareness and cues like reach for your heel, stay tucked, letting the feet go over the head, right? Not resisting anything, and then trying to turn your body into a wheel, like a tumbleweed is what I think of. Those cues, when used with easy practice daily, every single day, not just like, weekly, but daily. So as we age, we have to be aware of what is it that's going to harm us, what is going to be potentially detrimental to our health, right? So certain foods that we're eating and then certain lifestyle habits that we have, but also in our training, right? So I want to do my strength training. I want to make sure that my body is tough and resilient, and I'm not at risk of falling and getting injured because of the resilience that my body has, but also to know how, if I do fall, to have the mobility, awareness, coordination, strength, flexibility to get into these postures quickly, have the muscle memory necessary so that I do not get harmed during those times. All of this is a full picture, a full spectrum of things that we have to have in order to not get injured. Bye.